It is 10 minutes before my sister's graduation, and I'm screaming at my parents who are desperately trying to find something for me to wear. At last, I give in and wear what my mother hands me. I look in the mirror, and all I can see is a little boy in a dress. I look stiff, and I feel like I'm suffocating. Now, don't get me wrong, it was an okay-looking dress, but it felt gross on me. Something felt off. All I wanted was to wear my button-down shirt. Why couldn't I? Well, surprisingly, the persistent screaming did end up working because I was able to wear my button down. But why did I have to fight so hard? I was assigned female at birth, but always felt like a boy. Unaware that I'd be expected to follow the concept of womanhood, I lived detached from reality and even my own body. As estrogen puberty took its course, I couldn't recognize myself anymore. And as I got older, the expectations for me to fit in became unbearable. So, I started wearing eyeliner and I let my hair down. I studied how my female friends would act. I put in all this work and effort to change myself, yet it only made me feel worse. I felt like I was doing drag, dressing up day to day as somebody else. I had no hope and saw no future for myself, yet I was getting the most compliments than ever in my entire life. Over time, I faced an unspeakable amount of adversity within myself and decided to come out to my Indian family. This task consisted of countless arguments over tears and anguish. You see, traditional cultural and societal norms in India never recognized or accepted the concept of being LGBT. Therefore, it was even harder for my parents to understand what I was going through. My father once told me about one of the distant relatives he had back in the day who was a trans woman. He told me about how awfully his relatives spoke of and treated her. It hit me about how far behind India is compared to the US on LGBT issues. In fact, even to this day, same-sex marriage isn't legalized in India. Despite all this, my parents made it their number one priority to be there for me. They knew that I was struggling and that I needed help. So I got a gender therapist to help me feel more comfortable in my own skin. After months of education from countless doctors and therapists about being trans, my parents agreed to start calling me Krish instead of the more feminine name I had previously. When challenges came my way, I persisted, because I couldn't see myself as anything other than a boy, and I was going to make it my mission to live as such. Since starting my transition at the start of the new school year, I have faced challenges that I could not have even imagined before. The simple task of going to the restroom was met with anxiety and concern over which one I should go into in order to minimize others' discomfort with me being there. I constantly felt like I'd never be able to fit in with other guys and that my androgynous or gender-neutral appearance would scare them away. This is when it hit me how much looks play a role in one's treatment in society. I wished I looked older. I wished I was born a cis male. I wished I was taller. Yet again, I wished I could just fit in. There was a point in time when I felt cursed. My gender dysphoria, the disconnect between my mind and my body, got worse to the point where I would feel dizzy or nauseous when I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. In a way, my gender dysphoria was shattering my relationship with God. A place as sacred as the temple felt like torture to go to. I would see countless cis Indian guys with masculine builds and be reminded of a future I thought I would never get to have. I would envy their privilege of being able to walk around and not feel uncomfortable or trapped in their own body. This jealousy became so strong, I even started to question why God created me this way. The only thing that freed me from this daunting feeling was changing my mindset. I started to view my body as a vessel that would provide for me for the rest of my life. I started focusing on the things that I have that I'm grateful for instead of beating myself up for the things that I don't. While I struggled with my relationship with God, my mom only became more religious. You see, religion was such an essential part of her childhood, and it really helped her come to terms with me being trans. One day, when walking back from the local Indian store, a couple of Hindu devotees came up to us with religious pamphlets. They handed my mother a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, but she refused to accept it, saying she already had one at home. One of the devotees then pointed towards me and said something along the lines of, "Take it, at least he will read it." As soon as we got back in the car, my mother burst into tears. I had no clue why until she pointed out that he gendered me correctly. My mother said that it was a sign from God and that it relieved her from all the worries she had about my transition. This was the first time that I passed as a guy in public. It's crazy how something so insignificant, something that many take for granted in their day-to-day lives, felt like the world to me. It was moments like these that made me have faith in my future. The little things, such as going to the gym with my dad or being invited to guys' night out, that made me feel supported and confident. Along my journey, I figured I needed to find some people that I could look up to. I remember when I was younger watching a documentary about the first trans bodybuilder in India named Aryan Pasha. In fact, his videos helped me describe what I was feeling to my parents, especially coming from the same cultural background. So I decided to reach out to him over Instagram, not expecting much, but was surprised to see that he actually responded. I ended up having multiple conversations with him online, and he truly inspired me. You see, at the beginning of one's transition, there are so many doubts, so much uncertainty, that even the littlest bit of representation can help a lot. So, I started reaching out to as many people as possible to create a community that I so desperately needed. You know, I spent a good chunk of my life trying to fit in. I didn't realize that by surrounding myself with supportive people, I can be my most authentic self with no fear of judgment. So, if you are going through something, anything, talk to someone and just take it one step at a time. Thank you.